second chance. Ryan Cohen takes a stance. CEO leading with a plan. Gamestop's future in his hands. From the ashes, the world rebuild with determination, unyielding will. No safety net, no looking back. Cohen's vision on the right track. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, pioneer of a new age. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, writing a new page. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, Gamestop speaking in the night. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, guiding with unwavering light. Underestimated but not out. Cohen's resolve leaves no doubt. Revolutionizing the game, transforming Gamestop's flame. Shareholders rally by his side. Cohen's spirit they can't hide. A journey of transformation, leading Gamestop salvation. Ryan Cohen, the Ryan Cohen, architect of a new dawn. Ryan Cohen, the Ryan Cohen, with him Gamestop will spawn. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, Gamestop's phoenix in flight. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, guiding with wisdom and might. No risk too great, no challenge too tall. Cohen's daring spirit meant to stall. Through trials and triumphs, he'll prevail. A story of resilience to tell. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, a legend in the making. Ryan Cohen, oh Ryan Cohen, Gamestop's future it is taking. Oh. In a world of quick gains and fleeting light, there's a story of change shining bright. Gamestop's tale more than meets the eye, a vision for the future aiming high. Ryan Cohen steps in with a plan so grand, to build an empire that will stand. Not just a squeeze but a brand new dawn. With hope reborn, the past is gone. Hold on tight, believe in what's to come. The future shines, the journey's just begun. Beyond the hype, there's so much more to see. Patience pays, let the long term be. The interviews show his confidence grows, a testament to how far it goes. Who needs the squeeze when the base is strong? Building brick by brick, proving doubters wrong. So raise your voice, let the whole world know. Gamestop's more than just a passing show. Hold on tight, the love and what's to come. The future shines, the journey's just begun. Beyond the hype, there's so much more to see. Patience pays, let the long term be. Whispers in the shadows, a legend untold. Gamestop awakens, the story unfolds. In the heart of the gaming world, Gamestop lies, a sleeping giant hidden from prying eyes. With each passing day, it gathers its nine, a force awakening, ready to ignite. No fortunes flaunted, but a spirit untamed, weaving new legends, wild and unchained. Driven by passion, fueled by the fire, rising like a phoenix, climbing ever higher. Gamestop, the sleeping giant, now stirred from its rest, a beacon of hope for the daring and blessed. Trading cards gleaming like stars in the sky. In visions of glory, they soar ever high. Amidst corporate titans, it stands proud and true. A saga of resilience breaking through. Every trial it faces turns to victory's gold. In the forge of the fight, its epic is told. No fortunes flaunted, but a spirit untamed, weaving new legends, wild and untamed. Driven by passion, fueled by the fire, rising like a phoenix, climbing ever higher. Gamestop, the sleeping giant, now stirs from its rest, a beacon of hope for the daring and blessed. Trading card gleaming, stars in the sky. In visions of glory, they soar. Gamestop forever, the legend take flight. A sleeping giant, no more burning so bright.
All right. Hi, Manuel, what's up? All right, so I hope you enjoy the song there. Pretty fitting for what is happening. So we all know what happened. The price went down as expected. But again, like people are just freaking out for no reason, or this is just people shorting, hedging or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, we will receive our warrant. You could also see, the changes already. If you were to, it's like if you have any options or whatever, you could see that the ticker is a little bit, what is it called? It's going to be a little bit different. Sorry, somebody's texting me. Whatever. Why are you laughing? 'Cause the price down, is that why? Crazy. Nah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Alright. Yeah, been on hiatus for a little bit. I'm trying to prepare my taxes and all that stuff, so a bit stressed out about that. Like, whatever. I should have paid somebody to do it, but I'm like, yeah. Let's try to do it ourselves. Self-sufficient type thing. But anyway, it's just my personal stuff. Oh, the music. Okay. Good. I mean, I hope you enjoy. Oh, wait. Let me share my screen here. All right. So, I'm pretty excited to get my warrant. I will show you how many I have. I have way more than I expected. But I feel like, because last minute I was like, let me just add some more. For my long-term bag, of course, I still have my moon bag, obviously. You could figure out what my moon bag amount is, and then my trading account, I add a little bit more When I said a little bit, pretty much a lot. But I'm excited to receive the warrant on those tradable account and also on this particular long-term account as well. So I'm pretty psyched on that. Now, come Monday, I don't know if I wanted to make any changes yet on my trading account. We'll see. But for now, I'm pretty happy with what I have for now. My plan is to see what's the warrant is like for the next, I don't know. I'm gonna say for the next 3 months to see the earnings, how is it gonna turn out for the next earnings coming up for fourth quarter. So of course my expectation is a lot higher than last year. And of course, all of it is because of the massive amount of cash that we have, and I'm sure we will still have that, $8 billion in parking in the interest account, and maybe plus more because of we did add, operational income and all that stuff will go into this. This probably more closely, more close to $9 billion instead of 8 billion. But again, this is a ballpark, you guys. Again, this is a known amount already. Of course, with the interest rate going lower, with the Fed funds rate and all that stuff, this might change. So just be aware of that too. Because I think this is like a short-term a treasury bond that Jimmy is parking over there just to get some interest, right? While we're waiting on the greatest dip of the, I don't know what he's waiting for, honestly. But of course, like the speculation is that the market is about to, drop, and or it's gonna just melt up. Who knows, right? But if it melt up, guess what? Bitcoin's gonna do well, right? So this is why the hedge is there. The safety net, because of the whole uncertainty, you will still have some growth in the balance sheets there due to Bitcoin, right? And of course, like people are gonna speculate that it's gonna be bad because risk associated with Bitcoin and all that stuff. And again, some of it's probably overblown anyway. With the risk associated with Bitcoin, there's hardly any if you're thinking of it as a long term, right? 100 years from now, do you think Bitcoin will still exist? Right? That's your bet. I'm like taking Michael Saylor. I need to add more warrants. Okay, I mean, hey, if you want to buy more warrants, I don't know. Again, like this is my first time ever receiving a warrant on any company, so I'm kind of curious to see how it's gonna play out. Of course, the expectation is that the warrant's gonna be tradable, that you could buy or sell or whatever, do whatever you need to do or want to do with it. For me, I'm just gonna hold on to it until the next two. Well, I said next quarter, right? For the warrant, right? And then I don't know, because the share that I have bought, and sadly I bought it at like 27 because I was FOMOing in. I should have waited until the end of the day, of Thursday when they did the snapshot thing. So had I waited a little bit, but of course, like it's just a few cents here and there, you guys, like 50 cents more or less. But because I was trimming off of my crypto account to go into GME real quick. Of course, I still have some exposure to crypto that I kind of wanted to, because again, I kind of expected, they would do stuff like this to try to pay for what is happening. But of course, crypto is a lot easily moved. And so I was able to capitalize on that a little bit. In hindsight, though, I should have just buy, GameStop and all that stuff. But again, I'm still have a lot of exposure to Bitcoin. I mean, not Bitcoin, sorry, crypto. I mean, the expectation is that it's going to go up. Of course, my own expectation here. Like a lot of bullish news of crypto related news. So, and this month, typically crypto will go up in price. And as you could see, you know, if you look at the current price of GME's holding, as if now, because we haven't have any new filing yet, that we're buying more Bitcoin, so we're assuming that they have not added anything. With the current price, we are up $74 million currently, like if there's a snapshot today. And, you know, growing higher by the day, by the month. So by the time of fourth quarter, you're going to see this holdings going to go a lot more. And so the snapshot is going to be even more enticing, right? Of course, I want him to add more. I hope he added more eventually. But again, like, you know, the window to add more Bitcoin has become less and less likely. Of course, you know, when most people think that it's going to come down, right? And that's why I was like, this is impossible, seemingly impossible. Because if you have the previous support, right, turning into support right there, it's like the most easiest directional bet ever. But again, this is playing into the 4-year cycle and the cycle of lower interest rate environment coming in. This is the bet, right? I mean, look at the gold. I mean, gold has been went up close to $4,000 an ounce, and like typically Bitcoin will follow that. So again, like, you know, this time might be different type of deal. So people were too fearful, and then what happened? It just, you know, rocket the other way. I'm sure how many people were betting short in this level right here. That's why you do not bet against the scariest, you know, the scariest, rarest collateral that you could have had, you know, in human history. People don't realize that yet until, you know, 20 years from now, and then they're gonna be like, oh, I should have bought it at this price. Because they still think it's too expensive, you guys. They don't really understand how much liquidity is out there. You know, trillions and trillions of dollars. And with Trump big beautiful bill, you think it's not gonna, you know, go any higher? Of course, that amount of money printing, it's gonna keep the market up, right? And liquidity will eventually flow into, you know, companies like this. I mean, flow into Bitcoin, and then companies like this, right? Because it's way less expensive. You're buying at the bottom right now. And again, this is why people miss out too, because they think like, oh, this is the top. Okay, retail typically will miss out on this bull run. Okay. But again, it doesn't mean that you have no opportunity to add more if you wanted to. I recently listened to, of course, like, sorry, should have introduced the video a little bit better, but let me see. Peter Lynch did a video here. Just speaks to how people are in a rush to buy things typically, right? And they think that they are, you know, somehow are not going to get the opportunity. Hey, I'm guilty of that too, right? You think that, oh, you know, if you don't buy now, you're never going to have the option to buy later and make money. It's not like that. You know, if you understand the fundamental of anything, of any security, you will typically continue to buy more, add more, right? As time goes on, you make more money and all that stuff. You stash it away, So, yeah, let's listen in.
You could wait 3 years after Microsoft went public and made 10 times your money. Now, if you knew something about software, I know nothing about software. If you knew something about software, you would have said, these guys have it. I don't care who's going to win, Compaq, IBM. I don't know who's going to win Japanese computers. I know Microsoft, MS-DOS is the right thing. You could have bought Microsoft. Again, I'm repeating myself, stocks are not a lottery ticket. There's a company behind every stock. And you can just watch it. You have plenty of time. People are in an amazing rush to purchase a security. They're out of breath when they call up. You don't need to do this. It's you need an edge to make money too. People have incredible edges and they throw them away. I'll give you a quick example of SmithKline. This is a stock that had Tagamet. Now you didn't have to buy SmithKline when Tagamet was doing clinical trials. You didn't have to buy SmithKline when Tagamet was talked about in the New England Journal of Medicine or the British version, Lancet. You could have bought SmithKline when Tagamet first came out, a year after it came out. Let's say your spouse, your mother, your father, you were a nurse, you were a druggist, you're writing all these prescriptions. Tagamet was doing an amazing job of curing ulcers, and it was a wonderful pill for the company because if you just stopped taking it, the ulcer came back. See, it wouldn't have been a crummy product if you took it for $1 and it went away, but it was a great product for the company. But you could have bought it 2 years after the product was on the market and made 5 or 6 times your money. I mean, all the druggists, all the nurses, all the people, millions of people saw this product. And they're out buying oil companies, or drilling rigs, It happens.
This credit card has...
You could wait 3 years after Microsoft.
Okay, so I hope you got that concept. Yeah, so you have time. You have time to accumulate more GME. Let's say you don't have much money to get all these warrants right now, the dividends that you are, going to receive on Monday. You could still add more if you wanted to, right? You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars putting into this company. If you can, it's gonna mature into something better. Now I know we've been here for quite some time. I understand that people are tired and it's like the price come down and there's no end in sight type thing. The frustration of of people sometimes makes me laugh. But again, I do this to tell you that it's okay. Okay, you have the opportunity of a lifetime here to I guess see the success of this company going through. And in my opinion, again, not financial advice, this is the best bet. The easiest bet ever. Like better than a lottery ticket. Like you're guaranteed to win in if you're consistent enough. That's why again, dollar cost average is the best bet. Right now, because of what is happening when they were filing this mixed wait, did I have it on? I think I have a tab on that, but anyway, let me look at the price real quick. Of course, this is just I don't know what to call this anymore, but I feel like could be a gap fill, right? You might have a better opportunity to buy at this price right here before it goes back up. Okay, now there's a guy out there who think that it's gonna come down below $20, which, okay, if they want it down there before the warrants got distributed, yeah, more power to them. Perhaps they are stronger than we think, right? So don't underestimate your enemy or enemy. Shouldn't say enemy, but just crazy people who thinks that this company is not doing something. I'm willing to say that. Okay, so again, the trend line is still up right here, right? There's no breaking through yet. So Still bullish, pretty bullish. If something happened to the market, maybe this is the loading launch pad for most people. Who knows? Again, expectation, you guys, like, doesn't mean that, don't try to, well, okay, do whatever you want with your share, but I wouldn't take any risk on, betting whether it's going to come down before it goes up. What if it never does? Does that make sense? So, I mean, with the war and everything, volatility will come to the stock again. Option buyer, option seller, they're going to try to make any, transactional decision so that they could position themselves or whatever, right? The same way with long-term shareholder as well. You could position yourself to buy more share if you wanted to. Or for people who think that this is overpriced, they're going to try to sell at the top over there. But I don't know how many people would think that this is overpriced. Like, they have to be, it's tough to say, right? Because I don't know how many people out there who believe in this, believe in this. I only could speculate that there's tons of people who are actually holding the stock, right? Because there's two schools of thoughts here, okay? I believe that there's tons of people actually holding the stock. The reason why the price is not doing what we expect them to do is because of, market mechanic or manipulation, whatever you want to call it. I believe that, right? But guess what? How many people who believe that of all of the population out there? So perhaps this is why GME hasn't done anything in terms of price action. Okay, I'm talking about price action. I'm not talking about the company. So please be clear. Be clear about that. And so again, price action can be deceiving as well. It's a tool for them to, keep the price down, because when people see that the price is not doing anything, right? And typically traders are the one who's going to send the price up or down because of their emotion. Okay. And again, trading is so psychologically linked, so much so that people don't really even understand why certain stock goes up and certain stock goes down. And market makers know this about us, about, the whole humanity who trading. Much like, the algorithm that caused us to get so angry and all that stuff. They're using that for their advantage. And so who's going to win? The people that are long-term, for sure, right? And that's what Ryan Cohen also think. I feel, that he's so long-term in this thing that he doesn't really care about the day-to-day price action as much as these, people who are trading and all that stuff. So just be aware of that, right? And if you feel like you can time it just right, like Rowan Kitty, then do it. I mean, who's going to stop you? But I just implore people to at least, if you lose everything, don't blame it on Ryan Cohen, right? Ryan Cohen is a CEO of a company that is trying to operate the company the best way he know how, okay? And try to increase shareholder equity the best way he know how, okay? And I think he's been doing such an amazing job already, okay? It's not laziness. Okay? Like, I don't understand why people think that he's lazy or he's not doing anything much. And remember when he was cutting costs like crazy, like a madman? People were like, well, he's not doing anything but cut. Okay, cutting is doing something. Right? Cutting is actively trying to stop the bleeding from happening. Imagine where we would be at right now if we've been expanding like crazy while the world is burning down, right? Well, healthcare is about to go up if, this government shutdown thing is not gonna, if Democrats is not, standing strong. So again, maybe perhaps this is the reason why Berkshire Hathaway make an investment in United Healthcare. It's because he knew that, hey, this bill is going to be passing and Trump's going to do everything he can to, eliminate the healthcare for people. And so people have no choice but to pay more for healthcare premiums. That's terrible, for the economy. And of course, maybe this is the reason why you want to do it, to crash the economy so that, they could buy at a lower price. Who knows? Again, but that's just besides the point. When you have the economy that is so uncertain, cash is often what you want to have. Okay. And so I think that's why Ryan Cohen is trying to raise as much cash as possible. With this recent filing, I know people, again, dilution and all that stuff. But the same bullcrap narrative that people are spewing and say, oh, this is going to kill the momentum. No, momentum hasn't even started yet. Like, people, the base is so strong that people don't even, like, what if the squeeze doesn't happen until next year, until it's undeniable at that point, right? And so the moment that you realize that you are actually buying into something that is going to grow into something bigger, small to big, okay? You don't want to buy NVIDIA, AI bubble. Jeff Bezos just say it, right? There's a post there. I was going to show you, but the enormous amount of money, hundreds of billions of dollars here being pledged to something that doesn't even make money yet. I'm not saying it won't, but 20 years from now, I always believe that, right? Because again, the infrastructure you need to build, data center and all that stuff, and that's gonna be causing a lot of electricity to go up in price too. So if people income doesn't keep up with that pace, who's going to be supporting that, right? World governments are printing money to pay for their own shit. So technically they don't have any money. We don't have any money as a global humanity, right? And so, they're going to fall over themselves. Empires don't get that big without, without any problem in the home. And again, that's why, Rome fell. Why? Because they don't take care of their own citizen. And so we're in the in that stage right now. And so is it towards the end? I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about the future because I think Bitcoin is the solution for that. But who knows? It might be the opposite. I'm just speculating right now, because if the world ends, I don't think Bitcoin price is your your utmost in your mind, right? So it would not matter anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so with this mixed offering, of course, my opinion on this is it gives Ryan Cohen an ability to issue more shares, right? Or offering an instrument that's not dilutive to the common shareholder immediately. Okay, so preferred share. Remember with MicroStrategy, this will give them the ability to offer a yield bearing offering if GameStop choose to do that. Okay, let's say because we've been accumulating Bitcoin, perhaps we want to do the type of insurance based strategy You know, not only that we have a profitable business, we have money to add into the, Bitcoin ecosystem if we want to go that route, treasury or whatever. We have the money to build on top of, Bitcoin stack if we wanted to. And then on top of that, if you want to create capital through preferred share, then you could offer people rates, dividend, without diluting the common shareholder. Does that make sense? You, me, and him as well, Ryan Cohen. So infinity trap right there for shorts if they wanted to still be like mindlessly shorting this company and not really looking into the balance sheet themselves. And this might be algorithm as well, you guys. Like, algorithm are stupid, okay? They just have a dogmatic approach to things. And that's why they're in this mess in the first place, is because that's all they could do. Because if they do anything different, it might cause, whatever, price instability and all that stuff for other stuff that they hold. And so don't worry, those stuff will come along. But who knows, if they do use Bitcoin to hedge against GameStop and all that stuff, they could no longer do that because we do have Bitcoin there. And if the S&P 500 is used to short GameStop, who knows? I don't know if you guys remember this when Berkshire Hathaway went down to like $180. I remember those days, like back in June. Perhaps, yeah. Berkshire Hathaway was the one that was used to, as a collateral, to short GameStop. And maybe that's why Brian Cohen posts on X, and I think Twitter at the time, but it was Twitter at the time. But he said something about raising thumb war with with Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. There you go. So he challenged Warren Buffett to a thumb war type thing. So a hint, perhaps he knows that some collateral from that was used against GameStop. Hey, you guys, speculation, who knows? It might just be a glitch, right? On that day, just so happened. So my point is that, there is a lot more optionality, the flexibility, as it said here, to use as a general, ways to issue shares without issuing shares. Okay. And again, preferred stock can be anything. It's interest bearing, just like MSDR, Strife and Strike and all that stuff, or Strike, whatever they use in order to generating more money to entice people to give money to GameStop. And for people who with fixed income pool of capital, right? There's so many of them, right? And if you entice them enough, like let's say, hey, I'm gonna give 5%. And again, this is just eventually, okay? Eventually, I'm not talking about like now or anything, because right now it's people willing to give them a 0% interest, billions of dollars at 0% interest. So why not take advantage of that? If people give you free money and you don't take it, you're not a good CEO. It wouldn't be like, oh no, we don't want your free money. And listen too, like that free money that they got, they didn't even have to give any, voting power. There's nothing of that sort except for the convertible shares, right? So people who bought that convertible notes have a seat on the table if they wanted to, but in order to do that, you have to convert into shares, like common shareholders here. So technically, they have to spend $4 billion combined. Right? Okay, so these people right here, they would have to spend money in order to have a seat on the table. Okay, even with the 0% interest. That's enormously advantageous, you guys. Like, I don't understand why people don't see that. But again, you know, it's shrouded in, well, now GME is taking on an enormous amount of debt, which is bullcrap, right? Because if the debt has no interest at all, it's treated as a free money, net or otherwise, you know, whatever you want to qualify this advancement, right? And then not only that, now, you know, you have the warrants about to get spicy over here, add a little bit more spice, right? So perhaps every single quarter, we're going to issue more warrants or preferred share, you know, whatever it's need to happen to get more and more. You know, we're up to close to 10,000. I mean, $10 billion right now, you know, at this current price. I don't see any, you know, anything wrong with that. And again, this is the most current update for the cash raised or will raised eventually. The red one, of course, this is considered to be debt, but we have this cash on hand already. How do I know that? Because, you know, we have $8 billion in the marketable security. JP Morgan, I guess, based on the filing that JP Morgan file. So that's how people know, I guess. But anyway, so we have this already. Right now, SAT per share, you know, Satoshi per share is 1,000 Satoshi per share currently. Of course, with the dilution and all that stuff, that is, I think that's including, right? Outstanding share. Okay. I'm still accounted for the outstanding share. Still the same, so this is not accounted for convertible notes holder if they were to convert at some point. Now, the price is still below the convertible rate. So perhaps when you get to the 28, so say 29 level, you might see some, you know, what is it, hard ceiling, you know, for that purpose, because perhaps if the convertible note holder are shorters, the people who are actually shorting GME, they don't want the price to go above that because they want the ability to smack it down. Okay, fill the gap, go back up, and then boom, distribution. I don't know. Speculation, you guys. Please don't don't make any crazy decision to go take this trade. Okay, not a technical analysis person, so just bear with me. Speculation is gap fill down here one Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe Friday we begin to see a price getting people excited, warn purchases, and then smack it right back down. Every single quarter, so next quarter earnings report would be December. So October would be ending. So this month would be the last month that will be on the, you know, the interest rate. So there you go. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So price fluctuation, it's not gonna, you know, do much there. But my speculation is that whoever short, if they were to short this, they're gonna try to keep it down before the conversion rate or conversion price. Okay. As far as the warrant, they could, again, because the IV's been pretty low, like it's almost like too low. Never seen GME option IV this low. And I'm sure they're gonna have the ability to keep it as low as possible to affect the warrant price. But can they short the warrant? I don't know. I mean, again, speculation is that they cannot, but they'll have the ability to try to drive the price down. The only way to do it is to drive the price of the underlying stock down. They can do that. They've been doing that for quite some time. So good news is you will have the opportunity to buy at a lower price, right? If it ever come down to that level. But I'm still looking at this level right here, right? I'm hoping that crypto will go berserk, super cycle, and then just all in GME again. I know at one point I have 100% on my trading account, not my, well, this one also used to be 100%, but then I trimmed to crypto and all that stuff. So, but still have my moon back. I'm firm on this, you guys, very firm. Okay, $1,000 a share. I know people are laughing at me when I tell people that in my personal life, but yeah, we'll see. This is again because it's on a long-term account. I don't mind waiting. Let's see. So we are on our way, like to 1% of world asset moving into Bitcoin. Now, this world asset website here will tell you that the world at the moment has 1 quadrillion of dollars. Yes, there's a lot of craziness out here. But the commodity, since Bitcoin is technically is a commodity, we go by, $800 trillion as a commodity there. Yeah, well, Bitcoin is competing with gold, obviously. So if just 1% of world commodity goes into Bitcoin should be at, I think $8 trillion. Okay, around there. So 8 trillion, about double or triple here from here. I think that's pretty reasonable, right? So yeah, inching. I mean, we're above Amazon already without. Keep in mind, this is no CEO, okay? Just a piece of software keeping track of, how many people have Bitcoin and how many people willing to pay for Bitcoin at this price and how many people have not been making any decision to buy Bitcoin yet. And still, people will be fearful, people will mischaracterized Bitcoin, and they will continue to be baffled at the price. And eventually they will be priced out, and they will think that they're pricing out even though they could buy a fraction, of Bitcoin at a time. Like you could literally start with like $10 a day. If you want to do $10 a day for the next 10 years, 15 years on Bitcoin, you're set. By the 15th year, you would have been set. If you ask Grok or ask any, AI generated math, if you put $1 a day for the last 10 years into Bitcoin, $1 a day, just one, you would have had close to $3 million already. Yeah, but given that you never sell, like never touch it. So it's that powerful, you guys. And again, the reason why it goes up is because of the liquidity in the market, right? And people betting up and down and all that stuff. every market participant, and this is global, okay? People will get more scared when the price drop, they sell at a low, they freaked out, they think that they lose every single penny that they put in there. And, you know, when you see your portfolio going down so quickly, emotion gets kicked in. And for people who are seasoned in the market, that's usually the opportunity to buy. Okay. Same psychology, you guys. Nothing different here. Same psychology. Okay. It's just that Bitcoin is a lot more global, a lot more people to be able to be tricked, right? So that's why you have to be aware. Okay. And even, you know, the most seasoned trader out there, they will still not be able to, you know, predict this, right? The reason why people think that they could make money trading and all that stuff is because corporation, right? Proprietary traders with algorithm, you know, to try to trick people. And if you have the bona fide ability to create shares at will, of course you're going to take advantage of that. So that is also another mechanism in the market that affect the structure that you're seeing, that you're not really trading based on human emotion anymore. It's trading on the fact that how many people are willing to buy at this price, and then the price will move up there, right? So yeah, front running at a level in which, you know, you like people don't even understand, and people kind of accepted that. It's like, oh, that's normal. Free market should be randomized and at random, because you can't predict human behavior. Okay, the minute you think that humans will act this way, you most likely to be wrong. Okay, because human mind don't act in unison. They might be coerced to do that, yes, because, you know, some ideology that they are hold near and dear to their heart. You know, think about, you know, what's happening in the past 3 weeks. You know, how many people are swayed, so many, you know, emotional spectrum. You know, you've seen people laugh, you've seen people cry, you've seen people angry, you've seen people fighting for just a point of view. And imagine the price point that you're seeing right now. It's debated, it contests, it's, you know, just among what, 100,000 people. Well, again, seemingly, right? I'm talking about the DRS account out there. So I'm assuming that, you know, there's diamond hands people are the one who are DRS. I'm not the DRS person. Right? But even with that, you know, narrative, that diamond hand narrative, there are, you know, a plethora of variety of people. Okay, so don't get too dogmatic into thinking that, you know, it's gonna happen today, this week, and all that stuff. No dates, right? For the last 4 years, you know, how many people have been burned through, oh, this is the date, this is the time, this is the, no. I mean, just in the grand scheme of things, if you know how to detect the trend early, just like, Peter Lynch is saying, like, you have time. Even if you wait for another 3 years, okay, I'm guilty of this too, because I thought it was going to happen last year already, okay? Even if you wait for another 3 years, you still have the time to buy GameStop. Right? But imagine if you start today, you're going to have more shares by the end of the 3 years, right? So, so long as you don't lose sight of the core principle, you know, of the company. Like, what is the company's doing? the company has some soul here. Okay, let me equate this to like soulfulness. Okay, a lot of the companies out there are not very soulful at all, right? They lost their humanity. You know, corporation used to be a mean for people to put food on the table, okay, to go to work and be proud of what they do. But now it's all soul sucking type of, type of work. And all of this is just, okay, click here, and click here to try to make a buck out of it. Even if in the face of, causing people to do something that they shouldn't be doing as human, right? People are bought and paid for, whether through clicks, through all of that. And it's all, again, to try to engage you in some way. And again, maybe this is why my channel hasn't been promoted and all that stuff, which is fine. Like I've said that many times. I'm not here to get famous, you guys. I'm here to gauge, at least to add some voice into this madness of, algorithm-based society that we're living in right now. Because again, the loudest mouth has been the voice already, and not enough people who are sound. Not enough people who have a different opinion offering it to the masses. So, you could say it's centrist, point of view where, okay, it's not left and right. It's what can you move forward with so that humanity becomes a better, society in some way, shape or form. We could argue on the French side, right? Like people are marginally, different from us, but I guarantee you we have more in common. If you were to like pin the far left and far right together, they have more in common than not. The differences is like, we could argue later, but the majority of people, like I said, want peace. But peace doesn't make money for someone. So that's why we live in the world that we're living in right now. Honestly, I feel like with the technology that we've had for the last 100 years, I feel like we could figure out a way to feed everyone. No problem. If we could print trillions of dollars to commit atrocity against the world, we could print trillions of dollars to feed people, to better society in some way. Capiche? I mean, but anyway, I'm hoping that AI is gonna help that. That's what they are telling us, right? Enough about the doom and gloom. It's okay. My whole thing is that I don't want people to lose their humanity just because, we're investing in, a company and all that stuff. But again, that's why, like, in my opinion, in my depth of my soul, I feel like Ryan Cohen, is one of the good person. He's just trying to build something that lasts here. And doing it the best way he know how, as a human being with soul in his, left in his body. Who knows, right? I guess billionaires has a different way of, dealing with things. But he even said it himself, where he feel like an outsider too, where he's a retail trader. He's identified more with retail trader, even if he's like a billionaire already. See what I mean? So, so the world in which he came in, he have the vantage point of he doesn't want to participate in that, right? And you need people to support companies like this, right? Companies that went back to the basic, where okay, money in, money out, and then what happened towards the end? You used extra money to, expand the right way. You don't want to use it to, loading on debt that you cannot pay back, going into debt just to inflate, the revenue. For what? For who? To I guess mislead investor, to say that, hey, look, we have 100 million revenue or billion revenues. We stole $100 billion worth of goods, but we only don't worry about the EPA. It's gonna grow. It won't. If you spend that much money in order to make just a fraction of a penny back, right? That's not return on investment. That's hoping that if people, new people who are coming in to the company to buy it at a higher price than you, this price right here, that's hoping that if people are going to buy it at a higher price than you. Okay. So that's why you get overpriced. Okay? At some point in GME history, yes, it was overpriced. Balance sheet did not support this price right there. Okay. Valuation was terrible. That's why it collapsed. Valuation is terrible. That's why it's collapsed. Valuation is terrible. That's why it's collapsed. Valuation, even most recently, did not support the balance sheet. That's why it's collapsed, right? So now, I feel like this is the base. Okay. Right there. So, yeah, with that, I think that's pretty reasonable minded way to think about this. Yeah. Anyway, let me take a little break. I'll be right back. I hope people are not falling asleep. I have no idea how many people are in here, but who cares? That's I have a few video actually to react to. A lot of positive, coverage so far. I'm expecting this, so that means, again, slowly they're pushing good narrative, and maybe in 2-3 more quarters you're gonna see a full-blown, oh my goodness, type thing. So they'll understand it a little bit more. So let me play a few song, and I'll be right back.
Areas of conflict and war.
Walls of screens, numbers flashing bright, Gamestop rising, Bitcoin taking flight, no smoke and mirrors. Just pure market mind. We're changing the game day and night. They said we couldn't, but we're proving them wrong. Together we're building a financial song. No hype, no lies, just genuine worth. We're shaking the system, giving birth to a diamond hands revolution, breaking free from their institution.
our shelves to digital gold. A new era story being told. No suits can stop this tidal wave. We're riding history, brave and brave. They laughed at first, but now they see the power of our community. No flash in the pan, we're here to last. We're writing the rules of the financial past. To a diamond hands revolution, breaking free from their institution. Gamestop Bitcoin, leading the way. We're here to stay. Forever and always, not just
Let's talk and stop the company so true. Not just the price, but the value in view. Fundamentals will rise or fall in time, but first we climb this mountain high. Be more invested, rise above the game. Love her or hate her, she speaks with flame. Her voice will shine like morning dew, guiding us all to see what's true. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future, plant the seed for your family, for your name. Light the fire, fan the flame. Her words will echo through the years, melting away all doubts and fears. With every truth she helps us grow, showing the path we ought to know. She's kind and smart, her heart so pure, generous soul that will endure. She lifts us up, she makes us fight, encourages us through the night. Think for yourself and take the lead. Build a future, plant the seed for your family, for your name. Like a fire, fan the flame.
Build a website you love with Wix, where your words create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Feeling a vibe? Run with it. From can't look away to gotta have it. Make every detail yours. Bring out what's hot. Remove what's not. Crystallize it. Instantly set a tone that speaks in your voice to your audience. Keep moving. Your site grows with you. Add solutions that meet you where you are and take you where you
face of doubt will never bend. Our strength unbroken will transcend. With every step we're growing strong. Together we'll prove the doubters wrong. From whispers to roars, our anthem grows, defying limits. Everyone knows we're writing history with every move. Our determination we will prove. We are the fire, we are the storm, breaking the chains, changing the norm. Nothing can stop us. We're taking flight. Our power shine bright, burning so bright.
All right, all right. Sorry about that. Just realized there was like a what is it? Ads. Crazy. Okay. Let's try to wake people up. I don't know how many people are in here. Probably like 2 people. Well, thank you for staying. I have no idea, how many will stay till the end, but I don't know. Maybe an hour. Depends on how many stuff coming into my head. All right, so let's look at the price of Bitcoin real quick. It's kind of like crashing. People are freaking out again. Like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is going down. It always seems so like grave, right? The emotion that people have trading this thing. But like I said, it's all psychological, you guys. Okay, so I'm doing the dip here on this last run. So I'm thinking next support, and we resume back to 130. Let's go. I think we're gonna reach this for sure. Okay. How long? Maybe in an hour that's gonna happen? No, I don't think so. Maybe by Monday you will see Bitcoin goes higher. It's already close to all-time high, right? This is an all-time high, right? Tippy top right there. Okay, so we're about to get there. I mean, you could say right here is an all-time high too. I mean, who's actually buying here? Imagine close to 80% of people who bought any time during here are in profit. Okay? Anytime you buy. So, of course, when people are telling you that GME or Ryan Cohen doesn't buy at the right time because Bitcoin is so high, they're just BSing you, right? So, I know people typically get so cautious, get a bit antsy when it's all-time high. You've heard of the breakout, right? A breakout trade or whatever. Because psychologically, people are going to be naturally fearful, and that's typically when the price discovery coming, okay, for Bitcoin, right? Like I said, there's a lot more participant in buying Bitcoin than buying GME, okay? So in reference, to that, I feel like GME is much more an opportunity than Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin will move quicker and faster, but in terms of, building the base, I think GME will do much better in the long term. Okay. It's tough. Again, it's tough to gauge these two because it's different asset class altogether. But I think because we have Bitcoin in the balance sheet, we can take advantage of that run as well. I mean, if Bitcoin were to 5x right now, GME would be $2.5 billion in Bitcoin from their original investment. So, yeah, that's a substantial amount of money. I know people are like, well, how do they add more? Okay, I mean, they could try to, right? What to stop them from adding more, right? What if they add more during this, next quarter? Using, the rest of this money right here. And then what happened? 2 more quarters, they're gonna be able to realize this gain or report, on the unrealized gain for this particular earnings report. And that's gonna push up, the earnings per share and all that stuff. But again, people are gonna still be skeptical, being steered away from GameStop for many other reasons. So I don't know. Speculation. Fun to speculate for sure. But anyway, so let's listen to this real quick and react to it. I haven't even listened to the whole thing. But this channel has been, I think it's probably AI, generated. I don't think it's a real human here. But it's worth addressing, some of the, let's see what angle this video kind of take. Okay, so yeah.
The common belief, the persistent expectation that has shadowed GameStop since the meteoric short squeeze of 2021 is that it remains a meme stock, a speculative playground detached from fundamental reality, its fate dictated by social media sentiment and the whims of a rebellious retail army. Many
Okay, I didn't listen to this part. So of course, yeah, that's the angle. There you go. Meme stock. That's the reason why it's going up in price. That's the only reason. That's nothing to do with fundamental improvement, nothing like that, right? Year-on-year growth, even though, look, it's at a significant improvement, 22% year-on-year growth. Earnings per share, 25 cents from the previous, right? So even with this number, I'm telling you, when people are looking at the facts right in front of them, two people look at the same facts, they come up with a different opinion based on their own biases, okay? So their perspective is different, and so your own perception is what going to dictate what you do with this company, okay? Or how you come about interpreting this company. So how do you know which one is the right one? Well, the right one is people are understanding that fundamental of the company will always win. There are people who thinks that fundamental doesn't matter because technical analysis. I mean, Ron Kitty also said about this too, right? It's that's why he combined the two. Because fundamental, even though it, should supersede the price action, because that's the catalyst for people to be excited about the price, right? Be excited about investing in the company because they think that the company will make more money eventually. It used to anyway, right? Until, the momentum trader coming in or option trader coming in to try to, you know, uh, give you a different perspective, right? Because to them, they don't care what the price doing. They care about the volatility, right? So it's all about the volatility all of a sudden for these people, right? But if these people have so much money to move the market, obviously they're gonna move the market based on the option chain, based on ETF issuance, all of that. Try to mislead people, right, through the price. Remember, Rowan Kitty even said this too. At some point in time, okay, Jimmy, when it was traded so low, to the point where it's like stupid not to buy. Remember at the bottom, somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. The only other deception tool that they have to mislead people is the price. Right? Doesn't matter if the fundamental says, hey, the company is not going bankrupt if they have the right people in place. Right? Even with the wrong people in place, they still have more money in the business than the actual price itself. It was undervalued at that time. Right? And so the only way to deceive people is to make the price crash. Okay? And so if you are deceived by that price action going down, while the fundamental is improving, then you're missing out, right? You're missing not only that, they're hoping that you're blind, they're hoping that you would, take the bait and sell at the very bottom here. Get scared. Oh my gosh, if I don't buy now, or if I don't sell now, I'm never gonna get my money back, type thing, right? So that's the only last resort. That's why you see the desperation of, that drop right there. And yes, people, I'm sure some people fall for this, right? Imagine, guys, if you see your portfolio from here to here, that's 80%, right? And then you see a little bit of relief. People are like, okay, now it's going back up. I mean, look at the emotion there. The emotion, and how many people are brave enough to buy here, even adding more. You see your portfolio going down by 80%, which I have, okay, from the other top. Held through it, went up, adding more over here, thinking it's gonna go up there, but then only to feel this drop again, right? And this is why they do this type of thing, you guys. Who's they? Algorithm, market maker. Okay? They do this to draw you dry, hoping that you will sell here. And the minute that you sell, guess what? Back up. Boom. So price, yes, it will cause you anger to the wrong people who doesn't see what's happening, right? But for people who are in the know, they're like, okay, if you want me to buy at a lower price, we'll scoop it up here. But even the people that are, touting that bankruptcy is looming, they are adding here too, right? I'm sure lots of people bought over here. Hedge fund or, whatever. But again, mostly this is retail business. Retail shareholder. Back then, of course, yes. I'm sure there's like hedge funds out there who just buy and call just to ride the momentum, right? They don't even, I think Michael Burry sold at some point over here. Right? So just so you know that like nobody knows that it was going to go up that high. Okay. Same psychology here. Same psychology here. Okay. You drawn out that agonizing, people betting call option every single day, every single week, losing money, right? So that's the only arsenal that they have to attack the stock, because they can't attack the stock on its fundamental anymore. They can't attack the stock on revenue growth anymore. You see, like one by one, it's falling off. Because what was the narrative before that? Revenue is coming down. Revenue is not doing enough. Revenue, you need to increase your revenue. Okay, now we're here. Now what? That's why Ryan Cohen has been warn ahead of time, right? To say, hey, okay, come and get it. And again, is it retail? I don't know. I mean, it could be a few retail who might, have $10,000 to drop on a call option. Or they're just waiting on, people to bet it up so that they could bring the price up. Remember, market maker, their role is to find buyer at a later date. They will sell the share to you and find a buyer at a later date, meaning that unless there's some buyer, they're not going to move the price up there. They will continue to sell you those shares until they could find a buyer. Okay? So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait. If you want that big price spike, you're going to have to wait for the institution to make that bet. Okay? And they're coming. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm always hone this point home. And even Larry Chain too, right, on his post. What did he say? Well, let's look at the reference for institutional shareholder. It used to be 33, now 40 something, and then for future reference, 50%. How about 60% institutional ownership? Will that happen? It's like, it will never happen. Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait and see. When people are telling you like it will never happen, like to the absolute, you could bet that it's not that absolute. Same way on the other end too, right? Oh, it will happen this way. It's not absolute. Somewhere in between would be good too, right?
Many investors, particularly those using more traditional platforms like Fidelity Wealth Management or relying on automated systems such as Schwab Intelligent Portfolios, view GME as the poster child for irrational exuberance, a relic of a bygone market frenzy. The expectation
Irrational exuberant? People irrationally selling this thing or no? It's on the other side actually. People are irrationally like sleepwalking into selling GameStop for sure. Even though the company's doing better, company has much more room, more optionality to do whatever they need to do, more flexibility, and more ways to raise cash now. I think they always had the ability to raise cash. I just think that with such interest in this company, it would be hard not to take advantage of that. Right? And I don't think I heard this thing going around too, where Ryan Cohen is not for the squeeze. And I don't think that's necessarily true, but it's not false either. Short term, I don't think he wants to squeeze to the point where, the earnings is not going to keep up with the valuation of the company. Think about this, you guys. Squeeze amount, like that exuberant, irrational, exuberant type of deal, is not good for the fundamental of the company, because eventually you're going to hear people say, well, the company is not worth that much, right? And so would you rather build that base so strong that it's undeniable at that time? I would much rather have that company, because there's no way that it's going to fall right from there. You are now entering into a new phase of this company that empire could build upon. Yeah. So why not? But yeah, I mean, you could say, hey, Ryan Cohn doesn't want to squeeze because of that. Does that make him a terrible CEO? No. Right? In which case, I just feel like that's going to give a quality shareholder more. So maybe that's what he wants. He wants a quality shareholder who are not here for the short trip to the moon or whatever, right? And just get off. But also like somebody who would, want to build a legacy that lasts, or support a company that will be able to do that. Yeah, to me, again, Jimmy's different. Ryan Cohen is a different type of leadership. And I think there's such a vacuum in the S&P 500 now, where, you see a companies like this where executive branch are not there just to suck the value out of the company, shareholder balance sheets, whatever, just to use them as a pawn to, inflating their own personal wealth. Okay, so like I said, there's some soul like that I feel that GameStop has, so that's why.
Is that this is still a dying brick-and-mortar retailer of physical video games in an increasingly digital world, a company whose balance sheet and income statement are irrelevant compared to its ticker's ability to capture lightning in a bottle. This narrative paints a picture of a company perpetually on the brink, surviving on nostalgia and the stubborn loyalty of its most ardent supporters. The daily price swings are seen not as legitimate market activity, but as the chaotic spasms of a speculative fever dream. This perception is reinforced by Wall Street analysts, who maintain a nearly unanimous sell rating, with price targets languishing far below its current trading price, suggesting a deep-seated institutional disbelief in any long-term viability. However, the reality of GameStop in late 2025 challenges this simplistic and increasingly outdated expectation. The company is no longer just a story of survival, it's a story of calculated, albeit unconventional, transformation. The recent earnings report from early September tells a far more nuanced tale. GameStop reported earnings of 0.25 cents per share, handily beating the consensus estimate of 0.16 cents. Revenue also surprised to the upside, coming in at $972 million against expectations of around $823 million, a year-overall increase of nearly 22%. This wasn't a fluke driven by a single event, but a sign that the company's aggressive cost-cutting, store consolidation, and strategic pivot toward higher-margin collectibles are beginning to bear fruit. The numbers reveal a leaner, more disciplined operation capable of generating profit even if top-line sales in its legacy segments remain under pressure. This operational improvement is the bedrock that allows for today's aggressive warrant issuance. The company is methodically building a fortress of cash, not to weather a storm, but to finance a new kingdom. Whether you're a self-investing pro using a sophisticated platform like Interactive Brokers, or a newcomer setting up your first individual brokerage account, ignoring these fundamental improvements is to misread the entire story.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so I was speaking too soon. I thought this video was a was a negative Nancy, but it's okay. It's okay. Now they redeemed themselves. Okay, So I like this type of analysis, both sides of the story here, but you could hear a hint of optimistic, like back into reality, okay, where analysts like this or analysis like this is going to pour into the consciousness of this stock again. And guess what? That's going to breathe some life into it even more. And then that's when you see a surge of interest coming in. And I think this is intentional because, the institution are already positioned themselves and they already, probably have a plan to push this stock price higher. And again, this is why I think the IV is low for that purpose, so that they could load on the call option, right, at the bottom and then sell the call and then still have the share that they shorted or whatever, right? Or again, maybe use the option chain in order to pay for the loss of shorted shares, okay? But of course, for every buyer, there's always a seller. For every seller, there's always a buyer. So if you're shorting the stock, naked or otherwise, right, eventually you're going to become a shareholder eventually. You just have to buy at a higher price. Hopefully when you sell at a profit, right? Because if you're a short seller, you sold high and then buy low, okay? So that's the idea. But hopefully, if you short this thing, you're going to be able to buy it at a cheaper price. And good luck, who knows? You might be able to make like $2 a share. But again, this is the enormous risk that they are taking, right? When you think that you could time it just right, of course you think that that you're gonna just be able to do that. When it is so random, you never know how many participants gonna want to buy at that very moment. So buyers will come, the company just have to bring more and more people, new investor, people who are, even the institutional investor, right? You guys, like even them, they have such a different way of evaluating the company. And I'm sure most of them would look at the Bitcoin balance sheets or Bitcoin holding as a risk. And they will be missing out for sure. Just like how people don't really understand what MicroStrategy is doing or strategy is trying to do. And we'll be skeptical. I mean, for a very long time until they like, oh shit, we should have been doing this all along, type thing. So it's a correction for sure, but it's a correction on sound money, right? Sound money. So, because again, debt is not sustainable if you just keep inflating and inflating. The economy cannot support that. People cannot support that. Unless, again, wages go up by 20%. Then perhaps, yes. But is that going to raise anyone out of poverty? I don't think so. It's going to include more and more people in poverty. Because even if you make $100,000 a month, $100,000 a year, right? You're still struggling for some reason. Again, that's just the number there. Middle class used to be 70,000. Now it's 100 something. Is that insane? And people still like, oh my gosh, this is the best economy ever. Right?
Expectation is a dying retailer. The reality is a profitable, cash-rich entity actively seeking its next chapter. The stock's recent movement reflects this tension between the old narrative and the emerging reality. In the days leading up to today's announcement, trading was volatile but contained, showing a market holding its breath. The reaction to the strong September earnings was a powerful 18% surge, demonstrating that fundamental news can, in fact, still move the needle significantly, challenging the idea that GME stock trades purely on sentiment. Yet we've also seen downward pressure following disclosures of insider selling, a classic fundamental signal that spooks the market and gives ammunition to the bears. The trading volume itself tells a story. On day
What insider trade selling? Huh? Wait, am I missing something?
Insider selling, a classic fundamental signal, powerful 18% surge, demonstrating that fundamental news can in fact still move the needle significantly, challenging the idea that GME stock trades purely on sentiment. Yet we've also seen downward pressure following disclosures of insider selling, a classic fundamental signal that spooks the market and gives ammunition to the bear.
Probably like for taxes and all that stuff. They don't even tell you how many shares being sold. They just tell you insider selling. But yeah, that narrative is so old, you guys. Like, what the hell? It's not even feasible. Remember, there are if you're involved in GME, in terms of like, if you work for GME, right, you will get rewarded shares, as you know, your salary and all that stuff. And those rewarded shares has to be, they have to pay taxes on those, so that later on they don't have to pay tax. Perhaps again, I don't know what the rule is regarding that. But from time to time, they will file, some insider, quote unquote, selling because they have to sell for taxes. That's it. Right? They're not selling the rest of their portfolio here. So this is pretty misleading if they say that. But yes, again, this is what do you expect? People only hear that and then they're just gonna pick and choose, cherry picking on the facts. I'm probably guilty of that too on the other side of things, right? So just be aware of that. I am biased in this analysis because I hold GameStop. I've been, believing in the company for quite some time. I believe in Ryan Cohen that he's going to be able to turn this company around, which is evident, by the balance sheet themselves. So I like to think that I do have a well-rounded point of view here. But yeah, I'm doing my best to find whatever the truth is.
The trading volume itself tells a story. On days of high speculation, it can swell to astronomical levels. On quieter days, it recedes, but the underlying base of long-term holders, the so-called apes, provide a floor of support that many analysts consistently fail to factor into their models. This dedicated shareholder base, which many institutions dismiss, acts as a unique and powerful stabilizer, absorbing selling pressure and refusing to capitulate. They are not just investors, they are believers in a long-term turnaround led by a management team that communicates sparsely but acts decisively.
Wow. Okay. So I like that analysis. So now, okay, they come to realize like, okay, this is not like a typical shareholder base here. Because again, this is the typical narrative about any company that you hold, right? If the institution hold more of it, they're more stable because they're not likely to sell in and out and all that stuff. And so companies that have high retail shareholder typically will fluctuate like crazy because retail typically sell before, they realize any type of profit that, is life-changing. So again, that this is the narrative. And perhaps it's still ring true, you guys, because not every retail shareholder out there are patient enough to even hold it for another year. You could hear it on people's posts, how tired they are. Oh, I'm tired of holding in this this company, right? And that emotion can play in people selling, but I'm talking about the majority of people who've been here for a long time. That's why I'm willing to say about 100,000 people were actually buying hold this thing, and maybe a little bit more. I mean, you could also use use Roy and Kitty live stream, 600,000 at one point, right? Go back to that live stream and you understand how many people were tuning in live. Now, half of them probably just, tune in just to see what's gonna happen because they decided to invest at that moment in time, right? And so, of course, those people would lose their money if they sell, buy high and sell low. Dave Portnoy, the famous guy, obviously was, around that time was live streaming, buying GameStop and all that stuff. And of course, like he sold and all. So that type of retail investor will spawn again. Okay. Going back to the institutional ownership thing. So that's why again, institutional ownership is also important in keeping up the price and giving rise to more and more long-term shareholder. So it's coming soon, hopefully.
Its core, GameStop is still a retailer, but its business model is in a state of profound flux. The company has closed over 1,000 underperforming stores in recent years, pivoting from a strategy of saturation to one of optimization. The focus has shifted from low-margin new game sales, which are rapidly moving to digital downloads, to the far more lucrative market for physical trading cards, pop culture merchandise, and collectibles. This is a deliberate move to leverage its brand recognition and physical footprint in a market segment with higher margins and a dedicated, passionate consumer base. Furthermore, the company's cryptic but persistent foray into the digital asset space continues to be a wildcard. While an earlier NFT marketplace was shut down, the company's investment policy grants CEO Ryan Cohen broad authority to manage its substantial cash reserves, which now includes a significant holding in Bitcoin. This transforms GameStop into a hybrid entity, part retailer, part investment vehicle with a notable exposure to cryptocurrency volatility. It's a strategy that baffles traditional analysts but excites a new generation of investors who see the potential for asymmetric upside in a world of converging physical and digital economies. Looking toward the future, the landscape for GameStop is defined by several powerful catalysts and equally significant risks. The issuance of warrants effective today is the single most important near-term catalyst. If exercised, the nearly $1.9 billion in proceeds would give the company one of the most formidable balance sheets in the retail sector, providing immense flexibility for strategic acquisitions, further investments in digital assets, or a dramatic expansion of its e-commerce capabilities. This capital could be the fuel that transforms the company from a turnaround story to a growth story. Another potential catalyst is the cyclical nature of the video game industry, with new console releases historically driving significant hardware and software sales. The risks, however, are just as stark. The core business of physical game sales faces inexorable decline. The company's success is heavily dependent on the strategic vision of a management team that remains largely silent on its specific long-term plans, creating an information vacuum that breeds volatility. The stock's valuation remains a point of intense debate, and its connection to the volatile cryptocurrency market introduces a new layer of systemic risk that is entirely outside of its operational control. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you believe this warrant issuance is a brilliant move to build a war chest, or a desperate attempt to prop up a struggling business model?
Desperate attempt. They're desperately making money hand over fist. They're desperate, you guys. We're desperate. Okay, so of course, again, it's just a both sides these things, but 360. This seems low to most people. I'm looking at this like I'm baffled, right? I'm like, they only make $360 million only. And they're desperately grasping for air right now. Oh my goodness. I know sometimes there's these news article type, like they always frame it a certain way to make you feel. And again, this is called manufacturing consent, you guys. Like you're trying to get people to you could frame things so that people will only think about the negative, okay? And this thing happens in in politics and everything have to do with your life, right? When they want to persuade you to do something, they will frame, the question, frame the article in order to make you believe the opposite of what you should believe in, right? Of reality sometimes, okay? And they're pretty good at doing that, right? So just be aware of that. Understand or try to understand from a fundamental level, what price is good for you to buy. Like, even if you think that technical analysis is going to work for you, then okay, study it, right? Make sure you put some hours in to be able to determine, okay, is this overpriced or underpriced? That's it. If it's overpriced, okay, wait. If you want to wait. If it's underpriced, okay, buy twice more than you intended it to, right? But the key is to be consistent. You don't want to be quickly, like, going back to Peter Lynch. You could wait. Like, there's no rush to buy into GameStop if you don't want to. But there's also, there's time and place for this. And to me, the catalyst is here. To me, this is the inflection point. Right? I mean, it seems like it. Isn't it like this is what we're waiting for? Right? Revenue up. Earnings per share up. Increasing. Nobody talking about revenue going up right now. Right? And then even the estimate for the next one. Okay, there you go. Why is it so struggle, and why is it struggling while they are making the revenue? Like, even the estimate is more than last year estimate. See, $100 million more than the estimate of last year. Okay, so they're raising the bar higher for Jimmy to jump through the hoop. So what is this one here? So from estimate, okay, see, even the estimate for the last quarter here, it's a little bit higher. Okay, so if they're struggling and not able to create those sales or revenue, why the estimate goes up from there, even just slightly. So even the estimate itself, you could gauge it from that, meaning that they are expecting GameStop to do much better than the last quarter. Brian Cohen also hinted at that, through the interview that he did with Charles Payne, and understand that the reason why he did that interview is that he want people to know that, hey, we're profitable quarter by quarter. We're not seasonal as in the cycle of console anymore, as reliant on the physical or software business anymore, like the game, physical gaming. Okay. So yeah, I'll finish it up. Well, you guys could finish it. It's probably just one of those. Let's switch gear real quick. I know, it's a bit boring at the moment, but hey, it's my show. Hours already. Oh my gosh, 10 o'clock. Did I say an hour? So I have 20 more minutes. Okay, let's go. Oh, so this one is like a play on the digital. You know how digital is dying. Nobody's gonna be da 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 da. Apparently, Xbox has I guess closed down their ability to play games. I guess like some games you can't, even though they have a Game Pass, confirm change to Game Pass and all that stuff. Ultimate price. So I guess they increase the price, but yet you don't really get to. Okay, so 50 games plus. Da, da, da. you don't get to own the physical game. Okay. So that's why GameStop is standing to, I guess, the only physical game store out there to take advantage of this polarizing, um, polarizing idea that you should be owning, a physical thing because not only that, these subscription-based type of deal, they could increase the subscription. And even if you're purchasing your game inside that particular thing, a particular console or whatever, you will still have to pay the premium, and that premium could increase anytime. While if you own the game, you buy it once and you own it forever, right? So again, that's the economy that we have to live through. And we'll see who's gonna win. Like and again, like these market share could be could shared, different perspective here. So people who love to download from online and they're so used to that, they don't care about paying the premium. Okay, if you're those type, then they could go to Xbox and all that stuff. But we could also, look at the idea that GameStop will also sell those, right, for people to sell the Game Pass, and I mean, they still can capitalize on that, get people to the store to buy other stuff. Okay, so this is all about foot traffic here, you guys. Like, that's one. And then two is that the physical store is now packed with people who buy Pokemon, who buy, again, they sell other stuff, you guys. Like just because they have a used game here, used game is very small niche group. And if you want to buy physical stuff, of course you want to own PSA graded card. So, churning more people to be interested in new hobby. So yeah, I mean, that's why, again, this is a layer growth that people don't realize is happening. So again, this is just a play on, hey, they increased the Game Pass, and then now it's more expensive. People gonna, find better value for their dollar. Okay. So yeah, GameStop is back. Don't call it a comeback. So we already know is what's happening. Anyway, so some people just if Rowan Kitty still hold GameStop, he would have close to 1 million warrants right there. And okay, let me play this video. I haven't listened to this video before, so let's go.
Microsoft has just increased the price of its Xbox Game Pass Ultimate memberships from $20 to $30 a month, a 50% increase. In response, major US retailer GameStop has stated on Twitter that it will continue selling Game Pass Ultimate at the old price, in-store and online, sidestepping the increase for now. It isn't alone either, as Amazon is also still selling Game Pass Ultimate at $20 a month, and the same, at least for now, goes for Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. The key distinction is that GameStop has publicly confirmed it will continue selling Ultimate at the pre-hike price, while the other major US retailers have not commented and simply continue to list the subscription at the old rate. GameStop and others may be selling through an existing backlog of codes originally issued at $20. Physical Game Pass cards are typically printed with their value shown, which could make raising the price impractical for remaining stock. You're able to stack Game Pass subscriptions for up to 36 months or 3 years. At the old price, that would come out to $720. At the new $30 a month price, 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate costs $1,080. Moving on, Starbreeze has canceled Project Baxter, its co-op dungeon.
1,000 for a Game Pass? No, okay, I'm not a gamer at the moment. I do have games to play. Still haven't finished most of those games. As I get older, I feel like I don't have much time to to play a game or anything. But I just feel like this is a good, I guess, foot traffic, like I said, to get people to buy more stuff, other stuff, rather than getting into game. And will we incur any losses? I don't think so. We could stomach it for next quarter. Maybe we do make a lot of money already, so Ryan Cohen's like, it's okay, just create more value other way, like PSA graded card, getting people into Pokemon, stuff like that. So they will make it back, hopefully more than they lost on this. But again, maybe they already have the inventory, and they just, again, like a win-win situation where they already have the $20, instead of increasing the pass. It's better to do this so you create more value for your shoppers, right? So it means that people would think that Jimmy or GameStop cares about customer. So yeah, again, like, this is marketing, you guys. Like, smart leadership would do stuff like this, would lose money a little bit just to gain more. What's your heart? Okay, it's like giving discount for people to have a reason to go back into the shop. Returning customer, you guys, returning customer. Anyway, so I think I'm almost close to my energy capacity to talk. Let me see if there's any new. Okay, nobody comment on the share on the thing anyway. Just assuming that you guys are gonna fall asleep, but if you guys still here, thank you so much. Appreciate your engagement and all that stuff. No worry. If you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. Who cares, right? Let's see. So we have the free cash flow here, right there. No need to, like, need I say more? I don't think so. Let's see. So we have revenue going slightly up, slightly. Let's do the 12 months, trailing 12, right there. So we do have an increase. Wait a minute. Am I tripping? From here to here is an increase, right? Why is this decreasing? Okay. Uh-huh. They are accounted from here to here. Okay, so now I get it. So from 2 more quarters, you're gonna see the increase. Okay, this is why perhaps this is where the algorithm doesn't pick up this type of stock yet, because it hasn't turning positive yet. Okay, trailing 12. So 2 more quarters, you're gonna see this starting to be the baseline. Okay, and then moving forward, lower number would be the baseline. So that's why you see the increase in revenue. If you look at the quarter base, quarter by quarter, you could see that we are increasing by 22, close to 22% of year over year revenue. There you go. This is the capitulation point of view. Okay. We do make money operationally, so you cannot attack GameStop on operational income anymore. You cannot say that. What do? You attack the price. or attack the shareholder, right? Investor. You attack the CEO himself. Again, this ammunition has begun to fall one by one, right? In terms of whatever you need to say in negative term. And listen, institutions are not going to sit on the sideline, you guys. Like, don't be mistaken for a moment that they're not gonna accumulating this like crazy. Okay. Return on equity, 7%. You don't see that? Look at the profit per employee. $60,000 profit. Okay. So that's around 10, yeah, around 10%. 10% for every employee. Debt to equity, it's pretty low. Okay, pretty low. I know we used to have non-existent, but this debt is zero interest. Okay, so just be aware of that. I know it's close to 1. We want to be as far away from 1 as possible, but just keep in mind this debt is zero interest. All right. Okay. So this is in the institutional ownership. So I thought it was 42 as per share by Larry J. Where did it? There we go. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Close to the end, you guys. I know pretty people posting. Oh my god. Crazy. Okay, so we have, let me see. It's okay. But anyway, Bitcoin, let me see what is trading at right now. Okay. Going down. I'm expecting this level here. Let's put that red. Boom. And resume back after. So looks like it's gonna support that. Okay. A bit. I guess depends on where you draw. So, yeah, around there. Retracement. The most famous retracement ever. All-time high. Boom. Done. Alright, guys. I will let you guys go. I know. It's been a long, drawn-out show. We'll watch Moran's later. Okay, so I'm just clicking through this. And let me see if I could. Okay, I think I'm done. Alright. I will let you guys go, and thank you for joining.